Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open. I'm Tandy, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
We're here for the top 8. We finally have our top 8 players. What match are we going to be watching first, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, we're going to be watching two of our most decorated players here on the Apex Gaming circuit. As our #1 overall seed after the Swiss, Amin Abadi, saw him get the winning in. This is sort of the reward you get for having bad breakers, not being able to draw in the last round. If you do get the win, then you get really good, seeding, and you get to be on the play. That's going to be important with Abadi playing the Azorius Hammer deck. He is on the play against Dylan Ham, one of our top leaderboard players from last season, playing 5-color creativity. We saw Dylan, I believe, in round 1 on camera today. Ran through the tournament pretty well, only picked up the 1 loss. He drew in, and so, the downside of having good breakers and being able to draw in means you end up falling down in that last round. He's at the 8 seed, playing 5-color creativity. I like the Hammer side of this matchup. I think creativity is a bit of a slow deck. I think it's a deck that you can just kind of overrun with explosive draws that Hammer is able to do. And especially the Azorius build that has Spell Pierce, which is excellent, stopping the namesake card. So Amin, I think, has the better of it in the matchup overall and is on the play. I would take his side.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. We watch Hammer just kind of dominate the tournament, 3 copies into the top 8, and now Amin Abadi on the play. I think it's going to be pretty good for him. Now, these players are playing for a total prize purse of $5,000. This is our first ever 5K here at the Apex Gaming home store in Caldwell, Ohio, but it hopefully won't be the last. Shout out to the 82 players who joined us for today's event. It's been a fun day so far, but now we're down to 8. Let's head on down to the feature match area and watch Amin Abadi versus Dylan Ham. Amin on your left with Azorius Hammer, Dylan Ham on your right with 5-color creativity. We're off to the races.
Do you see a bolt in Ham's hand? That's important on the draw. You want to have one of those 1-mana removal spells, 4 bolts and 2 prismatic ending in his deck list. See how he wants to play this Esper Sentinel. It's either jam early and just give up the card advantage, or fall behind on tempo and not give up the card on the draw. It's hard to give up that tempo, though.
Yeah, but the extra card is just so incredible, and that's honestly the damned if you do, damned if you don't of Esper Sentinel. It functions nicely as a card to stall your opponent, and if they run right into it, you just get a refresh.
Looks like Dylan opting for the play it slow, don't give up the card advantage.
Saga is the land here for Amin Abadi. That's going to apply a lot of pressure over Dylan without force him to deploy a lot of threats. Second Esper Sentinel coming down, Dylan Ham. Now probably going to go ahead and bolt the Esper Sentinel. We'll see if Abadi has any artifacts or colorless cards to deploy here after the Sentinel. Shock with Sacred Foundry.
I imagine the second Sentinel is going to draw out the bolt. Just, can't afford to pay 2, so if you're going to give up a card anyway, might as well do it right now.
All right, Dylan Ham, one of the stronger players on the Apex Gaming Invitational Series, and put up great results in our Season 2. Looking forward to watching him play all throughout Season 3. Uses that Lightning Bolt, takes care of Esper Sentinel. Amin Abadi draws a card off of it, and we're back Dylan's way.
Yeah, we have seen, a lot of our, more notable players on the tour playing Murktide in previous tournaments and doing well with it. In this tournament, it was a lot of them on Hammer and Creativity, and unsurprisingly, we see those decks doing well today. So maybe it has something to do with the pilots behind these decks, and not just how well they're positioned in the metagame.
Important to note, Dylan Ham did play the exact same list as not just TJ Radizak, but also one of our other top 8 competitors, Ryan Hayes. So all 3 of those players collaborating and working together in order to find the best build. Here, though, Dylan Ham looks like he's under the gun against Amin Abadi's Azorius Hammer deck, and here comes Urza Saga. Activate, make a construct. That is going to threaten some serious damage over the next few turns. Not to mention making a second construct. Not to mention searching for an artifact.
And if you look at Dylan's hand, it's not really well equipped to answer this. It's a lot of the slow, grindy cards in this creativity deck with Fable the Mirror Breaker, Expressive Iteration. Does have a Leyline Binding, but that can't answer the land directly and only answered one of the 2 constructs. Not really going to get you back into this game. So it looks like a tough spot for Dylan. And a very good draw for Amin, matching up well against what Ham is presenting here in Game 1.
So now Amin has the option to float a man off the Saga or to make a construct. He's going to go ahead and make one of those constructs. and then search for an artifact. It's going to essentially take up his whole turn, but he's trying to weather the storm of interactivity from Dillenham's 5-color creativity deck. This is, you know, you want to get all the juice out of your fruit. You want to make sure that Saga provides you with the most bodies and raw resources possible. It's such a powerful card if you can leverage the time it takes to utilize, and a body here doing a great job of that.
Looks like we made the other construct, now deciding what to tutor for. Well, drum makes sense here. You got plenty of creatures to tap to generate that extra mana, and you want to press this advantage. So constructs now 5/5. Second Saga is nuts.
That's pretty good. It's going to threaten some more constructs over the next few turns. Here comes a big attack from a body, construct, and the Azorius Sentinel. And Dillenham's going to be essentially forced to go ahead and play Leyline Binding just to take care of a construct? That's so scary.
Yeah, answers the construct, keeps the life total high, and now, you know, even if Ham untaps and finds a creativity here, which he does not, does find a Teferi, doesn't have the double white though to go Teferi bounce binding recast. I imagine we will actually see Teferi pay for Esper Sentinel bounce construct, which is not a bad turn here, especially with the dwarf token down for more defense.
Okay, a pretty reasonable turn from Dylan, but Amina Body hasn't really deployed much from hand. If Dillenham puts a shield down, could just get combo killed next turn. Taps 3, here's a Teferi. Does the body remember the trigger from the Azorius Sentinel? We're going to just Spell Pierce it. Doesn't remember the trigger. Should have resolved the trigger first, see if Dylan wants to pay. Now doesn't even have to.
And now you've got to be a little wary of a Lightning Bolt. But still a very good Spell Pierce from a body. He keeps the pressure on Ham with that construct.
So I know a body has at least a Pure Steel Paladin in hand from earlier. If he plays that pre-combat, he can use that plus Springleaf Drum to activate the Saga and still attack with all the creatures that are in play. If he has a hammer to play, he has the required number of artifacts to equip for free and smash.
And you can hammer up the construct without fear of bolt since it's already a 4/4.
Well, here's the question. Do you sequence, if you have it, do you play the hammer first so that your Pure Steel doesn't get bolted in response?
Yes.
All right, well, this is a pretty big attack. No trample, though. Dwarf can just soak it or just take the damage.
Right. No blocks. The body going to make the construct before damage, get that extra point in. Like it.
All right, and now something like creativity for 1 just doesn't do it. So it's going to have to be at least a creativity for 2, and I don't think he even has it. So we're going to go digging with expressive iteration to see if we can find some way to clean up these creatures. The body remembers the Azorius Sentinel trigger. Dillenham really considering paying, but if he does, he's probably dead. He lets the body draw. Top 3 looks Red and 6, 2 lands. Dillenham's dead. Mina Body takes game number 1.
Well, we can ping down the Esper Sentinel. That'll make the constructs only 4/4s, but they'll become 5/5s with the Saga trigger. Maybe 6/6s if you make a construct.
They're already 5/5s. Dylan's at 10. There is a dwarf token in play, but we have to make it an 8/8 for it to be true lethal. I guess we could just get trample, or maybe go get hammer and put hammer on Ornithopter, and then the game's over easily. Now, Dillenham is representing some sort of interaction for 1 mana, but he's going to have to fetch and maybe shock in order to do something viable there. Here's an activation from the Saga. We're getting a construct.
Yeah, Ham does have a mountain in the list, so it could be representing fetch for Mountain Bolt. That's probably the one thing I'd be wary of if I were a body here.
I think it would have been 100% to kill the Pure Steel Paladin before an equip, to be honest.
Also true. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, probably not even afraid of Bolt.
All right, the Saga here is going searching. Dillenham, all but dead. Body just has to go through the motions, figuring out how to play best around 1-mana interaction. Hammer comes in. We draw a card off the Pure Steel Paladin. We equip, question mark? It looks like we have a third Urza Saga as well. Here's the equip. Another Saga. The Rebins. Now, if everything comes across here, we know Dillenham doesn't have anything. Body might want to play around something, but I can't even think of what it could be. Just a Dwarven Chump Blocker here maybe is enough to survive, huh?
No, any two of them, any two of these creatures are lethal. So yeah, second chump blocker, sure. But then yeah, what is Ham doing to get back in this game? The Ornithopter, while starting with flying, loses flying when equipped with the hammer, so you can chump block that one.
Surprised not to see the Pure Steel Paladin get in, but maybe just wanted to leave up another creature for Springleaf Drum. Not sure.
And it does let it. Can't make a construct with that second saga just yet, but maybe being a little extra cautious. That 2 damage could be relevant.
All right, going back Dillinham's way. See if he has any offense here. Can bring back a fetch, crack it, but nothing. Yeah. No creativity. GG. 1-0, I mean a body.
And that's how you do it when you're Hammer. You get the pressure started early, put the creativity player on the back foot, and then just measure your threats. Don't really open yourself up to anything, and keep that pressure on until their defenses collapse.
Now, you may be wondering to yourself, oh, I wonder what's in their deck list. These players did make top 8. I'm curious if I'll get to see these deck lists at any point. Well, we're going to be posting them up in a little while to apexgaming.gg. They might be already up. I'm not sure. I don't want to... Okay, they'll be up after the event is over. So if you're curious, make sure to check out apexgaming.gg once we have finished the finals, and then that's where they'll be posted. You can also use apexgaming.gg to find your nearest Apex Gaming Invitational Series qualifier. We're going to be posting a bunch of those over the next few weeks as we have a lot of stores already on board, but we're also accepting new stores joining the program. So if your local game store could handle something like an invitational qualifier, make sure to check out apexgaming.gg and get them to sign up. You too can cash your ticket to the Season 3 Invitational in late October.
And looking at sideboards here going into game 2 for Dillingham, we've got 2 Wear Tear, 3 Abundant Growth, 2 Silence, 4 Change the Equation, 2 Veil of Summer, and 2 Boseiju. Gotta love the Disenchant effects in this matchup. The Wear Tears and Bosejus are excellent. Boseiju especially with Ren and 6.
Well, Wear Tear especially because it can blow up the Saga and an artifact.
Yeah. And then we did see a prior creativity player bring in Change the Equation against Hammer. I'm not a fan. Nah. I know it's very versatile because the curve in the Hammer deck is so low. I just don't want to play counter spells against them. I don't want to be reactive in that way. I want to have all removal spells so I can deal with things on the battlefield. So I don't think Change the Equation is something I want. That said, the 4 Spell Pierces in the main deck, I think there are 4 of them, and the 4 Teferis aren't great. So maybe Change the Equation is just better than Teferi.
Maybe. I actually like the Teferi okay for bouncing Saga sometimes, and just like making it so that the hammer stuff has to all be done at like sorcery speed. You don't get tricked by blacksmith skill or spell pierce ever. It has some utility, but it's certainly not ideal.
Yeah. So that's a question for Ham to answer. We'll see how he sideboarded as the game plays out.
All right. Well, on a Mina body side with that hammer deck, what's he got, Ross? And what do you think he's bringing in?
3 March of Otherworldly Light, 3 Sanctifier Invec, 2 Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, 2 Spell Pierce, a Path Exile, a Pithing Needle, a Blacksmith Skill, a Relic of Progenitus, and a Teferi Time Raveler. I like the cheap interaction, the Spell Pierces, the Blacksmith Skill.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of much else. Maybe you want a Path Exile to occasionally answer an Archon?
Yeah, I doubt it, but, you know, maybe there's a plan to get some of the weaker cards out and you just need something to replace them, and Path Exile can also target one of the tokens in response to a creativity for 1, so it can be like a surprise piece of interaction.
Yeah. March could do that as well, but if you were going to bring in an effect like that, I'd rather have the one that could answer. You can top deck against an onboard Archon.
Game 2 underway now. Dillingham going to be fetching a Jetmir Garden for his turn 1 play. Amina Body's turn 1 play is the powerful Sigarda's Aid. No creature like Ornithopter to threaten a potential turn 2 kill. So Dillingham, breathing easy for now. Back his way. Finds Stomping Ground as the draw for turn. Can play it untapped. Let's see if he has Ren and 6 or something similar to get the party started. Doesn't. Passes back.
And interestingly, played that Shockland untapped instead of playing a Dwarven Mine tapped. I don't think he has a 3rd land untapped for next turn for the Fable in hand. So that could end up really costing him, because this is a turn where you could have, killed something untapped and played Fable on a clean board. That said, Inkmoth Nexus means that was never going to be a viable line anyway, since if Amin has a 3rd land in hand, is now threatening activate Ink Moth, play Colossus Hammer, equip it, and kill you.
All right, Stoneforge Mystic bites the bullet. We have Lightning Bolt taking it down. Dillingham does find a land that enters untapped. That's Bloodstained Mire. The hand has Fable the Mirror Breaker, but maybe is trying to bluff interaction, or maybe has interaction here for the Inkmoth Nexus potential kill.
If you tap out for Fable, you're just dead to a land. So you can't do that. And at this point, you can get another Triumph, set up your domain, and he's got Leyline Binding plus Bolt here. 2 good pieces of interaction. That should clear the way for you to be able to safely land the Fable next turn. And then reload with more interaction.
So this is a kind of a weird fetch. Dillingham is looking for a land. Does that mean Imana Body passed with no play on turn 3? Shocking to me if so, but I've seen stranger things happen. Maybe this is like an upkeep, target your Sigarda's Aid with Leyline Binding, but no, a body with no play, back Dillingham's way.
Must have a handful of Blacksmith skills and Spell Pierces.
Yeah, or double white cards.
Yeah, it could have Pierce Paladins, could also have, more hammers, more equipment.
That's one of the answers. It's Spell Pierce. That's going to take down Fable the Mirror Breaker. And now Amina Body wants a land to try to go for the kill, perhaps, but maybe sniffs out Dillingham having the answer.
Yeah, with Urza Saga being the land, you really don't want to expose the Inkmoth Nexus to removal, because that's a land or a mana source that you need to start making constructs with the Saga.
Yeah, a body might, have another answer to creativity or something too. So might just want to sit on the Urza Saga, wait to activate it a bunch, finds another land. It's another Inkmoth Nexus, so perhaps needing double white, but hitting land drops is great here.
Both players doing a good job of running lands off the top when they needed them.
Yeah, no
I think
kidding.
Ham's going to need a little bit more action to see another fetch and an Archon in hand, which are not particularly good here. I think we still got the Leyline Binding though. That one's solid.
All right, we're going to fetch another Dwarven Mine here. That's going to allow for some pressure here from Dillingham. But Amina Body sitting at a healthy 19 life. This hammer deck doesn't deal itself a lot of damage like these Fetch Shock Triumph dual decks that we see all over the place in Modern.
And once you get to the Dwarven Mine stage, you're not, even though the Creativity deck isn't dealing itself a ton of damage. Okay, we got Dwarf Beatdown versus Construct Beatdown.
All right, we're going to end of turn, make an Urza Saga token. Does Dillingham want to interact with it now? We know that there's a hammer in hand from a body. If he goes for one of those equipment, Ham could respond with a Leyline Binding on the Sigarda's Aid, but if a body can protect it with Blacksmith skill or potentially, stop it in some other way, that could be game over.
Loading a colorless here is a sign of strength from Amina Body. Looks like he's going for a kill.
Yeah, maybe he's got it lined up with double protection or single protection, so we're going to be going for it. Dillingham is going to let this resolve.
And there's a bolt and a binding in Ham's hand. If a body gets a hammer here, goes to equip the Nexus, he's going for Shadow Spear.
Well, there's a fetch.
There's a fetch, okay.
Yeah. We're going to go for a bolt.
Why are we bolting now? It's only going to be a 2/2. This actually plays into the hammer that you already know.
Yeah. And now a binding.
And if this gets Blacksmith skilled, I think it's all over.
Okay, let's see what he targeted. I think he targeted Sigarda's Aid.
It looks like that was the point.
Yeah, since Leyline Binding can't target lands, I don't think. See if a body has the Blacksmith skill or some way to protect. A Grip Full hasn't played a ton of proactive stuff this game, a handful of reactive stuff. There's Blacksmith skill. Does Dillingham have the answer? The Binding.
Binding's going to stay on the battlefield, Dylan.
Yeah. Bolt. Countered. Huge Inkmoth Nexus with Trample. We're crunching on over. Does Dillingham have anything? And that's it. Amina Body takes it in a quick 2-0 decisive victory. Azorius Hammer moving on to the semifinals. And you can't ever count in a body out. I'll say that because those brothers just come to all these events and it seems like one of them top eights every single time. And they're always playing tight. I know that one of them qualified for, or they both qualified for the regional championship, and I think one of them qualified for the Pro Tour as well.
Gabe, I believe, played the Pro Tour in Philadelphia.
Oh, cool. So, congrats to him for making
It was
top
Amin,
four.
I'm being told. Sorry.
Okay. Well, congrats to Amin for the top 4